Bibliophiles of the internet. My name is Adriana, and today I'm here to talk about the conclusion of the Locke Key comic series by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. Recently, I finally wrapped up this series and it was an incredible ending like everybody said that it would be. I have thoughts and today I'm here to share them with you. So to give a broad overview of the entire series, this comic series is about the Locke family and they have just survived a severely traumatic event. Because of that, they are forced to move across the country into this very creepy old mansion known as Key House. As you might have guessed, this mansion is no normal place. It is overflowing with otherworldly power. The three Locke children, Tyler, Kinsey, and Bodhi, discover that there are a series of keys that keep making themselves known, and the wielder of these keys can do supernatural things. Either they open enchanted doorways or they bestow upon the wielder some kind of special ability. So while they're discovering these keys and learning about everything that they can do with them, there are other people who also covet these keys and who want to use them for much more sinister things. And their enemies might be much closer than they think. First, let's talk about what I really enjoyed about this volume. The pacing in this final installment is incredible because it's so fast-paced. The tension and the suspense are higher than they've ever been before, and of course there's so much more at stake in this volume than any of the previous volumes. Everything that's been revealed in the story up to this point has definitely been building up to this volume. So there's naturally this really great and gripping suspense that propels this volume forward. Of course, I want to talk about character growth because there were some phenomenal character arcs in this series. First, I have to talk about the eldest Locke sibling, Tyler Locke, because holy crap. The sheer magnitude of his character growth from volume 1 all the way until volume 6 is, I think, by far the most noticeable, the most dramatic, and the most satisfying. He is an incredible character and it was such a pleasure to see him grow and change over the course of the series until his very last panel in Alpha and Omega. Kinsey, the middle Locke child, is also an incredible character. It was really great to see her struggling with her emotions and trying to come to terms with her emotions and her fears over the course of the series. Let's talk about the antagonist Dodge for a second because I think he is by far one of the most compelling and dynamic characters in this entire series. He's twisted and evil and he's definitely the villain that you love to hate, that villain who you secretly admire because he has everybody under his control. He has everyone figured out and he is just playing them to his heart's desire. I felt like his storyline played out exactly as you would expect it to in this final volume, but I also think that there was more complexity to him that was uncovered in this volume as well, and I think we got to see a different side of him too. Above all, I think this final volume's greatest strength was how emotionally satisfying it was. As gruesome and violent and horrific as this series can be, there are also really distinct themes of love, family, friendship, loyalty, responsibility, etc., etc. And I really felt like those themes were also mined in this volume as well and brought to the forefront. And I really applaud how they wanted to end this series on kind of an ambiguously optimistic note, if you will. However, unlike a majority of people who have concluded this series, I do not think that this final installment was as infallibly incredible as so many would lead you to believe. I felt the way that some things were wrapped up was a little bit too neat, to the point where I felt like you might as well just slap a bow on it. I think there's something about wrapping up a series too perfectly that calls questions of convenience to mind. And to me, even though I hesitate to say this, I feel like there's something about an ending that's too neat that kind of cheapens the writing. I think in a lot of ways it sacrifices the believability and the realism of the story. Like I said, there are definitely some very strong themes present in this series that are very positive, and I appreciate that the authors try to highlight that towards the end. But another huge part of this series is how horrific and scary and gruesome it is. It's twisted and it's really dark, so I kept waiting for that part of the series to come through at the very end. Because the ending was really convenient and too perfect for my taste, I did not find it as satisfying as other people have in the past. So even though I felt like there were definite ways in which this last installment could have been even better, I still enjoyed it as it is, and I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. So those were my thoughts on the conclusion of the incredible Locke and Key comic series. In the comments down below, if you have also read and completed this series, please feel free to leave your thoughts. But other than that, I got nothing else to add to this video. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the flip side of the page.